Hello, 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 hello. Good. Sorry. All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Nyamakwe with Certified Africa. Thank you all for joining. I see Mystica or Mysticov. Yeah, Mysticov. Yeah. Thank you for joining. I see the names are not too clear. I see Kate Webb. I see Kate Webb. If I got it right. Thank you for joining. The other one, IJ, then the 374A. Thank you for joining. All right, and all those on Facebook, I appreciate you all for joining. This is Africa Fridays. Oh, Lance. Okay, good to have you here, Lance. Yeah, some of the names, the way it's written, it makes it a little difficult. Thank you for having you all here. So today we're back here. It's still about Africa. Every Friday when we come here, then you should know it has to do with something relating to Africa. I trust that everybody's doing well. You had a great week so far. If it wasn't that good, we still trust that it's going to be better. So today I'm going to talk about something very, crucial for people, especially who have any thoughts of making it to Africa or moving to Africa, because that's something that we've been dealing with for some time now, and we have been, we have dedicated ourselves, for some time now in helping people who want to make it back to the continent, who want to relocate back to the continent. So we've made room for that to help people do that. So today I'll be discussing an article actually written by an African American who has actually moved to Namibia, and she wrote this article that I'll be discussing. So just stay with me in the next 2 minutes. We'll be discussing that real quick. And it says 9 things I wish I knew before moving to Africa. That's what it says. Hey Chanel, good to have you here. Hope you're doing great. Okay, so 9 things I wish I knew before moving to Africa. And I mean, moving to Africa is a concept again that has been around way from Marcus Garvey, from Martin Luther King, all these guys, talked about some of these things, and W. Du Bois, all these guys talked about that, and some of them took the step to actually make the move. So it's not for everybody. Again, I always like to point out that coming to Africa is not for everybody. But if you feel like it's for you, then yes, you go for it. Like, don't let anybody talk you out of it. If you feel like it's for you, you go for it. So I'll be discussing the 9 things I wish I knew before moving to Africa. That's not for me, it's an article. Now, this article was written by a lady called Kaylan Reed Shipanga. Now, she's an African American who is married to a Namibian. Okay? She's a founder and editor-in-chief. There's a little profile about her. The article I'm about to discuss. She's the founder and editor-in-chief of African American in Africa, a collective founded on the need for amplified perspectives of Black travelers and expats across the African continent. She's a Howard, University journalism graduate. She has worked in the media in the US and also in Namibia. So that's the article I'm about to discuss, written by this wonderful young, I call her a young lady, about things she wished she knew before moving to Africa. And I think this will help people who have that, same desire to make their way to Africa, which again, I say, if you have that desire, it's not a bad thing. Okay, Africa is one of the amazing places you can ever think of living. When you think about the peace of mind and everything that you get a chance to have, and some of the things that Africa offers you is not too tangible, but it's more valuable than a lot of tangible things that you may find anywhere in the world. Okay, so let me move straight into the article. Now, so it says 9 things I wish I knew before moving to Africa, written by Kaylan Reed Shipanga, just so you know. So you can also find it online. If you Google her name, and I think if you put in the title, 9 things I wish I knew before moving to Africa, you should be able to find it. Now, the first thing that she talks about that I like to touch on briefly about things she wished she knew before moving to Africa, so that if you're also contemplating on making a similar journey, you have this in mind as well. He said, don't move to Africa relying on Apple products. This is a little silly, but I thought I'll still touch on it anyway. He said, don't move to Africa relying on Apple products, because one of the things I realized in America is people, really are so attached to their gadgets, whether it's an iPhone and a MacBook and all of these things. The reality is that depending on, now here she had a good point. Now when she went to Namibia, where she found herself was not in the capital type of living. And there are a lot of people who move to Africa and don't stay in a capital, because again, there are a lot of articles that has been written about living in a place like Ghana, let's say in Accra, for instance, or maybe in Johannesburg, where it can even get more expensive than living in New York, downtown New York. So again, it depends on where exactly you choose to live when you move to Africa. So she's coming from a perspective and saying that don't move to Africa relying on Apple products, to say that, look, if you're not living in the heart of the capital, most of these things are not really valued in a lot of the places that you may find yourself outside of the capital. If I say valued, it doesn't mean you can, there's no actual value for it. But one, maybe there's no too strong internet access. So therefore you have an Apple, you have a MacBook, but the MacBook or maybe the iPhone is not really useful in the sense of, think connectivity wise. So that's an idea that for somebody who's trying to move and you're so attached to your gadgets, you get to a place in a particular country in Africa and you'll be taken by surprise that, whoa, my gadget is actually not useful to me at all. So she's just giving, she kept this point to give an idea that, hey, when you come to Africa, look, based on where you are, location, where you are, these gadgets are really of no value. So you come to terms with dealing with very simple things, basically, when you come to, and I think it's very true, because sometimes, here, if you come to Africa, yes, there are those, you have a few who still hold dear all their, they need, if they have an iPhone, they need to have a MacBook. They have a MacBook, they need to have what do you call it, some other music player that is still connected to Apple all the way. It's something that you can't do without. Based on where you decide to live in Africa, you may learn to live without. And a lot of people come, in the beginning, they move into the capital cities. So these gadgets usually function a lot. But once life hits and they don't not put things in place properly and they run out of funds, now they realize they need to move outward from the capital. And that becomes a different ball game altogether. Because again, like Ghana, I can tell you for a fact, internet connection is not perfect everywhere. If you're in a capital, yes, you have perfect internet connection. But once you move outside of the capital, you're going further away, internet connection becomes a little tricky. So again, if you're the all gadgets type, then you may have a little bit of, disappointment in that respect. So just make up your mind, okay? Make up your mind before you get disappointed. Now, the essence is for you not to get disappointed. Okay, and that's how a lot of people don't prepare in that respect, mind-wise. And they come there and they're disappointed. And they're like, whoa, I can't do this anymore. I'm out. So you don't want that. So first of all, she's saying don't move to Africa relying on Apple guide products. Now, the second piece that she talked about, things she wished she had known, before moving to Africa. So some of us can take a clue from that, is road safety. She said it's a major problem. She is in Namibia. And I can tell you, it doesn't just apply to Namibia, but it applies to a lot of other places. Sometimes we talk about a lot of positive things, which, I'm a bearer of positivity, yes, and good things. But again, she feels that the road networks was a little challenging for her when she moved to Africa, which genuinely so. If you're somebody who is not able to shake up yourself and deal with a little potholes, then Africa may not be for you after all. That's one thing people must realize. So it's not all rosy. I think people must also be prepared when they're coming to Africa, that you're not coming to live the same lifestyle you live in America in Africa. You need to understand you're going to a completely different place. So as part of, the surprises that you encounter, the road networks is not too excellent everywhere. Especially once you leave the capital, everything kind of changes when it comes to the road network. So she says, road safety. And here's the thing. if you've been to Africa before, you know people drive anyhow. I've seen a lot of people who drive, I've met a lot of people who drive very well, like the speed and all of that in America. But when they come to Ghana, they are not able to drive because they can't get on the road. The type of wildness that you find on African streets, you don't find the same thing in America. People can overtake you at any time. There's no sign, nothing. People just, they move when they feel like moving. So she feels like that's something you need to think about, safety on the road. So you don't travel at night, you know, you don't go to, you don't try to go long journey overnight. That's not a good idea when you're in Africa. And that's something she wish she knew before coming. So maybe if you have a heads up, if you're thinking about coming to Africa, that would be a good thing for you. So at least you know that, okay, once the roads are not too safe because of potholes and all of that and people driving anyhow, I'm not going to be traveling late at night. So you want to take that into consideration. Okay, so road safety was key for her. Okay, so and also it's not every type of car that you want to drive when you're in Africa, because I mean I'm sure it's just like any other place. You need to be you know, have special type of skill to be able to handle certain cars. Don't think because you can drive any car, you can just come to Africa and start driving any car. The roads will beat you. Because Africa, where you don't expect to be a sharp curve, there's a sharp curve, and people turn anyhow. So you want to be very cautious when you're thinking about making your way there. So you want to consider, now again, this is for, so people don't get disappointed. And I don't like the idea of people have been so passionate about coming to the continent. We want people to come to the continent. That's the idea. If you're a black person, we desire that you come to the African continent, but we don't want you to come and then you get disappointed. 3 months time, 6 months time, 1 year time, you're off. You're like, I can't do this anymore. No, because you didn't come prepared. That's the reality. So all this is so that you come prepared mind-wise. That, hey, look, once I know I have to deal with the roads when I come to Africa, maybe it helps me put a few measures in place, you know, before making my way to Africa. So Kayla is saying that if she knew, if she knew these things, maybe she would have not to say that she wouldn't have come. She would have come, but she would have, you know, adjusted her mind better. Because when you do that, it takes you a long time to be able to adapt to you know, to different things that come your way. Because at least you're not prepared, and then you're all of a sudden hit with something. And then, hey, and if you're not careful for the road issue, for instance, maybe you may not live to tell your story because you are not aware that it's not good to maybe travel at night because people drive anyhow sometimes. So because you didn't have that heads up, you made that move, and then, hey, maybe it didn't go right. So it's good to have this type of information. So you want to think about it, the roads, when you're coming to Africa. But here's the thing, these things should not deter you. This is just to make you make room, or have, you know, don't have that kind of wild expectation of all glamorous or maybe everything perfect, because it's not. That's the reality. It's not. It's not. When we talk about Africa being a good place, it doesn't mean there are no hitches. There's quite a lot of hitches, like any other place, but it's still enjoyable despite all the hitches. Now, the third thing that Kaylin talks about she wish she knew before coming to Africa to do is that you might have to break a few immigration rules. This is quite interesting when I read it. The fact that you might have to break a few immigration rules. Now, it's illegal. It's wrong to break immigration rules in any country in Africa. Ghana specifically, being from there, it is absolutely illegal to break immigration rules. Now, why did she talk about this point about, you know, you might have to break a few immigration rules? She was dealing with timing. And if you look at some of the videos that we've done about how Africans are more laid back, even our institutions are kind of laid back. Something that could take 2 weeks will take you 3 months. So you put in an application to have something that gives you the ability as an immigrant to do something in a country. But then it takes 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. You're still waiting. So what do? Do you leave because maybe you're not supposed to be there? Or do you stay and wait? That's the dilemma that a lot of people may find themselves, because there are things that maybe you're somebody who's very law abiding, which is good. You have to be law abiding. But the reality Haaland is faced in Namibia basically is the fact that you apply for something and you're looking forward to receive that thing that gives you room to be able to operate. But this thing is not coming. Something like something simple as a permit to be able to function, maybe in a business or anything. And you apply for 2 months. Tomorrow they tell you this. And even, I mean, if you talk to some people even who are Ghanaians, myself, you register for a business, particular business, and you're waiting. The thing is supposed to take a certain amount of time. They assure you. The time comes, you reach out, and it's not ready. And you're wondering what's going on, but that's the timelines that they gave officially, but it's not coming. And that's why people don't like to go through sometimes the normal channels. But that's also wrong. It's also dangerous. You don't want to do that. But again, people don't just adhere to the times. Institutions especially. You apply for something that is supposed to come in 2 weeks. And she makes a statement here that, I think is quite interesting. She said, when you're coming to Africa, you need to pack along a big bottle of patience. So you need to pack as part of your luggage. You need to pack a very big luggage, a big bag of patience, because you're going to need it in Africa. That's the reality. And that's why sometimes, people tend to fall in line with breaking some rules. You don't have to break rules, but people just naturally do that because you can't help it, because things are not followed. Like how America, you apply for something, they said 2 weeks, they'll send you a letter, 2 weeks, they'll send you a letter. You don't have that in Africa. So you need to adjust your mind when you're coming to Africa. That, hey, it's not, if they said 2 weeks, it doesn't mean 2 weeks you're going to have it. It's a culture that we're hoping that it changes. But until then, please adjust your mind. Don't come and be like, why are these people like this? Why are they keeping my documents? Why are they not giving me back my resident permit? Why are they my work permit? Why is it they told me 2 weeks? Why is it taking so long? You frustrate yourself and eventually you may give up. But eventually things come around. That's a reality. In Africa, things come around, but sometimes it takes time. It takes time. So you need to have a lot of patience. You need to have a lot of patience. That's a reality. Okay? So if you know these things beforehand, in coming to Africa, you reserve a little bit of patience. So don't utilize all your patience. If you have intentions of moving to Africa, don't utilize all your patience here in America. Please reserve some, because you need it in Africa in some of the delays. Okay? So that's one good point she mentioned. But again, she talked about breaking some rules. But I wouldn't say break rules. You have to follow the rules. But just be patient and let the process go through. Just be patient. Eventually it will come around. Don't be in a rush, because hey, Africa doesn't work like everywhere else. Okay, it's different. We live life. Okay, we don't rush ourselves, to death. So the fourth point that is good to think about or to know about before moving to Africa. It says even you can be an entrepreneur. Even you can be an entrepreneur means referring to somebody who never thought or never dreamt in their life that they'll be entrepreneurs or they'll be doing any type of thing. That's something you need to start making room for in advance. I'm telling you, if you want to survive in Africa, you have to start making room for being an entrepreneur, because jobs and all of that can take you that far. At some point, you have to be able, and this is to the die-hard I'm moving to Africa people. Not just those who are just testing the waters and tomorrow they're hoping they come back in 2 weeks' time or in 1 month time if something changes. But I've spoken to some die-hard, I'm going to Africa, moving to Africa people. And those people, that's not the thing that you need to begin to adapt. If you're that type who want to go to Africa, Bali, want to make it to Africa and live there, Bali, you need to be able to have in mind that even you can be an entrepreneur. If you've never considered that in your life, because here's the thing, reality is going to hit. And when realities hit, you see a whole bunch of opportunities in front of you that it takes you to be able to execute. It takes you to be able to lead the way. And you have to be able to step up to make it happen. So you need to start making room. I've spoken to people who say, hey, for me, entrepreneurship is not for me at all. There's no way I could be an entrepreneur. If you're thinking of moving to Africa, begin to make room for it in advance. Because at some point on your journey, you may need that. Because you will find a whole bunch of things being placed on your lap. Maybe you're so ingrained into the 9 to 5 that there's nothing that they can do to get you out of it. But now that you've developed this passion of moving to Africa, hey, start adapting. Start having a change of heart and a change of mind when it comes to being an entrepreneur, because I'm telling you, it will come in handy and you would need it. Unless, again, like I said, you want to go to Africa in 6 months' time, come back. You want to be able to make room. There are a lot of people I've seen who still do 9 to 5, who have moved to Africa, but then eventually they realize that they can have a whole bunch of businesses on the side, which makes them entrepreneurs. And they never would have done that in America, in Europe, or anywhere in the world. But in Africa, you have to begin to make room. And when you make this room in advance before making a move, it helps you. It makes a lot of difference rather than getting there before taking that decision. So hey, make room for entrepreneurship. Make room for that. Make room for that. Very key, very important. It's going to help you. It's going to come in handy at the end of the day. Okay. Now, the fifth thing out of the 9 that we're looking about knowing before moving to Africa is moving to Africa as a Black foreigner. You may not get the welcoming you expected. Ooh. Helen moved to Namibia and she's saying, you may not, you said, adjust your mind, make up your mind before coming, because you may not get the welcoming you expected. I have personally preached that Africans are very welcoming and Africans, love to have us around. But Kaylin makes a valid point as well, where she's saying that don't push your expectations too high, because sometimes when you push your expectations too high, the least hitch, when you find that one person who still doesn't get it, that in this day and age, Black people were taken from Africa and therefore they are welcome back to Africa. That one person who doesn't get it, when you encounter that one person, you're going to have a big shock about maybe their reaction to you. The silent protest maybe against you by that one bad nut. And you're going to get so disappointed because in your mind, you expected that everybody in Africa should like you because you're Black and because you look like them. So that could be a big shocker. So you want to develop, my brother will call shock absorbers. Develop some shock absorbers. As much as Africans are very welcoming, Ghanaians can be very welcoming specifically. But the fact that the Ghanaians can be welcoming doesn't mean if you're coming to Ghana, don't expect to meet that one bad nut that just will not have it, whether you're Black like them or not. So I think if you're intending to move, especially to stay for the long haul, that's something that you want to, think about. That, hey, although I've heard that Africans are nice people, they are amazing people, they're welcoming, I still need to, look out for that one person that may decide to mess up my mood or my day or my stay in Africa. When you have that in mind, it helps you to prepare a lot better. It helps you to prepare a lot better. Hey, happy Friday. Black Seed Global. Good to have you here. Okay, it helps you to prepare better. Wakanda Enterprises. Hello. So, hey, make sure that you don't have so much, extreme high. Some people can have so wild expectations that, hey, because I'm Black, I'm coming back home. But hey, it's been years. So if you're coming back home, you need to know that you may meet that one person who still may not get it because you speak differently. Don't forget that. You speak differently. So no matter how much you think that, you should be welcome, somebody may not, think that you deserve that welcome so much. And if you take it personal, then that becomes a problem. So what I'm suggesting is that at least don't push your hopes too far. Leave room for surprises when it comes to people who don't welcome you, because you'll find them just like any other place. You expect to meet some people who will not welcome you. So when you're coming to Africa, please make up your mind that, hey, there'll be some people who may just naturally not like you for whatever reason. If you take that to heart, you can't stay. You will leave in 1 year time. And the goal is for you to be able to stay and enjoy your stay. So you want to be able to develop that room before you come, that, hey, okay, I'm aware I'm likely to encounter that 1 or 2 people who may not just have it, just that I'm here coming to, do my thing. They may not just have it. So just make room for them. It's important for you to prepare for that. Now, the next thing she discusses here, Keelan discusses here in the article, is that don't go crazy trying to be a local. Don't go crazy trying to be a local. I have seen, now let's draw a line. Let's draw a line. Don't try to be too foreign. Don't try to be foreign when you're in Africa. And don't try to be too local when you're in Africa. Because, hey, you speak differently. That gives you up. So in the first place, the fact that you look like the locals doesn't mean that you should try so hard, to fit in. No, just be you. But then be open to culture. Be open to what's happening. Be open to how people live, how people do things, the things people wear. Be open to it. But don't try to do too much. Because when you do too much, sometimes it becomes annoying to some people that you're trying so hard to be a local. No, we're not saying don't be a local, but don't try so hard to be a local. Just be you and be open. That's all. Be open and engage. Engage and enjoy the culture. Because sometimes you trying so hard to be a local, you even punish yourself. Yeah, you punish yourself. You suffocate yourself because you're trying so hard to be accepted. No, you don't want to do that. You want to be yourself because very soon you get choked. When you get choked, you can't stay. You leave because you're trying so hard to be a local at all costs. Don't do that. Learn the ways. Try to do some of the things. Live like a local. I guess go to the market, interact with people, be open to learning the language. Try, but don't try too much. In other words, don't push yourself to the limit that at all costs. I've seen people do that. And when you do that, sometimes it even annoys with the locals. It annoys us that you're trying too hard. Like, come on, be you, be you. So that's something you need to know because very soon some people start looking at you with a side eye. Why is this girl trying to be even more Ghanaian than myself? That type of notion. Why is she trying to be more local than myself? That type of thing. So you want to know the limit. Don't push yourself too much. Just be you. When you come to Africa, doesn't mean you should suspend everything you've ever known. No. At least make the effort to learn the new way of life. But don't do too much. Don't do too much because you're forcing to fit in at all costs. That will not get you anywhere. That will get you, suffocated. And eventually you want to leave because you feel like, nah, I can't do this anymore. Yeah, because you're trying so hard to be a local at all costs. No matter what it takes, you're trying to be a local. You don't want to do that. Okay, you don't want to do that. Just be you and enjoy the vibe. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. Don't try to think that except you do, every single thing that the locals do before they accept you. No, they accept you for you. But they like it when you make the effort to learn the African way. If I say the African way, some of the things that we do, like, you meet somebody and you go to the market and you're able to use one or two phrases from that country. People just enjoy that. They feel like you're making an effort, to be part of the culture. It doesn't also mean that you get to Africa and then, you want to be in every, like every little thing you want to be in there because you feel like that's what will make you very local enough. No. Don't do that. I've seen people who go to Africa and, you see them, dressing already like chiefs and having their rod, their chieftaincy rod and, wearing a crown and a whole bunch of things, just to feel like that makes them, that helps them become a lot more African. But no, you don't want to do that. So just be you. Just be you. Don't kill yourself trying to be so African. Don't do that. Just be you and try to learn the African way gradually. It's beautiful that way. Hey, now in Africa, one thing you should know. Now the article talks about avoid payday crowds. Payday crowds. In other words, sometimes in Africa, because people are laid back, people wait until the last minutes before they get things done. Okay, they wait until the last minute. Here, when somebody feels like doing something, mostly maybe they go out and then do it. In Europe, people usually are like that. People don't wait until last minute. But in Africa, just like, African Americans, you know this very well. attending events. Like everybody in their homes is thinking that somebody's not going to come early. So all of us will wait and then we'll all come at the last end. That's how we do. Black people, we like that. In Africa, it's the same way. So, but you don't want and in Africa, we do it more. So when it comes to things that you really need, don't wait until the last minute. Like I've been a victim of this before. I know I need to get money from the bank. I wait until Saturday when there's a half day. I'm like, okay, let me just wait on the weekend, I'll do that. But you get there and it's a very long line. It doesn't even get your time and the bank closes. Or Friday, you wait, you know you're supposed to get something from the bank. Friday, you wait. You stay, so wait until the last minute when the bank's about to close and you get there. You see a very long line. It doesn't get your time. And it happens for several other things. So don't try to be part of these last minute people when it comes to Africa. Because Africans are good with last minute things. So if you're coming from outside, you're thinking of joining the train, be very careful because you'll be in a very long queue. Anything that you need to apply for in Africa, you need to apply it in advance. Because when you wait until the last minute to apply, you have a problem. In the beginning, I told you about some of the immigration things, and breaking some of the rules eventually, which is wrong. But because we take a long time to even process things, if you also wait until the last minute, your thing is going to expire. Your resident permit is going to expire. But you're waiting until the last minute. You're going to be part of a very huge crowd that are also waiting for the last minute. So the advice here is that when you're thinking of coming to Africa, make up your mind that you're not going to be part of all these last minute crowds where everybody's waiting until the last hour before they all go. You may get disappointed. You may get disappointed. So you want to prepare before coming that, hey, if I have to do anything, I'm going to get up and I'm going to initiate it early. Because I'm telling you, to be in your best interest, to initiate things early. Because at the end of the day, if you wait until the last minute, you see the number of people, especially for those moving to places like Nigeria. Nigeria has so many people. Nigeria is a place that if you put anything down, like any advertisement, actors, audition for actors, if you come to the venue 10 minutes late, you won't have a space to sit. The number of people that will show up for that audition will be unbelievable. So if you're waiting until the last minute before you make it to the audition, by the time you get there, there's no room for you. That's a reality. So when you're coming to Africa, be very cautious that you're not going to come with that same old mindset of, I'm going to wait until the last minute. No, Africa will take you by surprise. So be careful. I have some comments here which I'll get to in the next second. Now, so the next thing, the 8th one says that your English may not be their English. So I'm part of them. If I say them, it means the local Africans. That's me. Your English is not our English. I've had to struggle a lot with African Americans and, even Caucasians speaking. You struggle to understand. So when you come to Africa and we're saying, come again, don't get upset. You need to understand that, hey, your English is not our English, although we all speak English. But the way you speak is a little different. So we may take a long time to understand what you're saying. So you need to come prepared. Don't get frustrated because we're trying to figure out what you're saying. Because you say one thing, we say yes, but we didn't really get it. We go and then we didn't even get anything you said. All we did was just responding. So you want to have patience and take your time when you're dealing with us in speaking. Try and make sure we understand what you're saying, because that could frustrate you. You tell somebody something, you go, and maybe what you're expecting hasn't been done because you didn't make sure they got it. You just assume that they understood because you're speaking English. No, your English is not our English. So be careful. We speak English. We take the words one after the other. So look at how I'm speaking, one after the other. If you're African American, if you're Caucasian, whoever you are, and you speak like an American or even a British, theirs can be very complex, actually. You don't expect that I can follow you at the same pace. So you have to be patient and make sure we get it. So you don't get frustrated because always you have to keep repeating yourself. Yes, it's part of the process. Maybe if you were aware before coming, you will know how to communicate with us. So that's something you can learn. That's something you need to get before coming to Africa. If you're thinking of coming to stay for the long haul, you have to gradually, adapt how we catch what you're saying because you speak differently. If I say differently, same English, but accent is different. Different accent. So you'll be hearing a lot of come again, come again. Even you will be doing that, because we too, when we say things, you also be asking, come again. What did you say? Come again. So you should also prepare. That we'll also be doing come again, come again. And sometimes we may even get frustrated because you're saying something and it's nowhere near what we think it should be called. So yes, that could get frustrating for us too. So let's all work together. Let's be patient and work together. So you need to understand that the way you speak will be, looked at differently when you make your way to the continent. So you have to be patient and in expressing yourself. And gradually, the people you live with gradually be able to pick up what you're saying gradually. So you don't get frustrated. Because you expect, so some people think that once they speak English in America, once they get to Africa, once they get to Ghana, everybody must understand them because I'm speaking English and I'm told you guys speak English as well. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that because you speak English, but you're doing a lot of rah, 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 rah. So we don't get it. We don't get it. So you need to be patient so we can understand. So come prepared that, hey, we're going to do a little bit of we don't get it. We don't get it. Okay, so that's something you can prepare before coming. Now, the last thing that this article discusses is that moving to Africa is exhilarating. It said, but homesickness is inevitable. Now, here she's talking about the fact that, you're so hyped up about coming to Africa, so hyped up. Yeah, I'm tired of America. I want to come to Africa. But you come to Africa and then realize that, hey, it's not as easy as I thought. Now I'm homesick. Sometimes even maybe the food. Some people, I'm homesick. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay? So make up your mind that there may be a time where you may get homesick. It's normal. It's okay. That maybe all the hype that you have maybe dies out in 1 month. And maybe reality sets in after 1 month. And now you feel like being back in New York. We feel like being back in London. We feel like being back in wherever you come from. In Belgium, wherever. Brussels, wherever. Okay? So just know that it's normal for you to be homesick. That is depending on where you're coming from. If you're coming from America, yes, you may miss America. You may miss America. It's normal. Don't be surprised when that happens. Because again, like I said, the fun period may be over. For those who are expecting to move, I want to move to Africa people. The fun times may be over. And maybe some realities may set in where you now need to structure your life and see what you're up to. So you can be able to survive and thrive in Africa. Reality may set in, and sometimes you wish you were back in New York. Or sometimes you may wish you're back in London. But it's a phase that you'll be going through that you have to learn to overcome and move to the next step. Otherwise, hey, living in Africa is going to be very frustrating for you. So, hey, that brings me to the end of the 9 things I wish I knew before moving to Africa. 1, don't move to Africa relying on Apple products. Because, hey, depending on where you stay, you may not have need for them. Road safety is a major challenge, but not everywhere, just so you know. So you might have to break a few immigration rules. It means that, hey, things delay a lot. So you want to put your things way ahead of time and have a lot of patience for your things to go through. Okay? And sometimes you may overstay your visa. Sometimes you may, take a longer time to get your permit. You may all of these things, but eventually it will come through. Even you can be an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter if you're used to the 9 to 5 so much. If you come to Africa and you live there for some time, I'm telling you, your entrepreneur nature will come out. So that's one thing you should have room for when coming to Africa. Okay? So here also, we're saying that don't push your expectations too high about how people welcome you when you come to Africa. There may be some few bad nuts. So make room for them. Develop some shock absorbers for those ones as well. So don't go crazy trying to be a local at all costs. Okay, learn to live, to learn the culture and everything. But don't try to do too much. Nobody's expecting too much from you. So don't try to come to Africa and kill yourself trying to be like a local at all costs. Don't do that. So avoid last minute things. Stop waiting until last minute because you could get some surprises when you do that. Okay? Now, your English is not our English. In other words, when you come to Africa, we may not get you some of the things you're saying. So be patient in dealing with us so you don't get frustrated and choke yourself because you're trying your best to communicate something to us and we are not getting it. You need to be patient. So that's something you need to understand. That although we are all speaking English, but we're having different accents. So we're going to have some communication challenges when you're on the continent. So please, just have that room for that. So again, when you come to Africa and the fun phase is over, some realities may set in and you may get homesick. It's normal. So get used to that. Get used to that. You're going to get homesick at some point. Get used to that and learn to overcome that and move to the next phase. Okay, all right. So let me see if there's any question for me today. Let me see what to say here. Said hello. Happy Friday. So how do you prepare your travelers on the Ghanaian food? Somebody's asking, all right, now you're packing. So how do you prepare your travelers on the Ghanaian food? How do you prepare someone for Ghanaian foods? Well, I mean, I guess except you try it, there's nothing really to be prepared for. I mean, we could talk about some of the foods that you need to look at for. So what we do, for instance, Certified Africa on our travel experiences before the trip, some of the calls that we have, the conference calls that we have, we talk about some of the local foods that you should watch out for. But we can, and some of the groups that we have, we put pictures and all of that of these foods there. But we cannot really prepare you for what it really tastes like unless you taste it. So yes, so I mean, there's no better way to prepare somebody for the food except they get there and they try it. That'll be part of the adventure. You have to get there and try it. So that's what I can say about that. That's how best we can prepare you by showing you, talking about the food, and then showing you pictures of it or maybe a video of it. That's the best. And usually in the groups that we create, we put some of these videos of wache or some of the famous foods in this country. We put it there for you to see it. But we cannot really prepare you for whether or not you're going to like it or not. So yes, so that's what I can say about that. Okay, so hey, this has been our Africa Fridays, and today we talked about some of the things you should be aware of before making your move to Africa, which is very important if you have that intention, so you're not taken by surprise. Because again, like I said, when it comes to moving to Africa, the goal is for you not to be disappointed and want to quickly make your way back. Otherwise, what is the reason for going? It defeats the purpose. So what we're saying is you have to be able to make room when you know some of these things. So we appreciate you all sticking and staying with us. You can follow us on Certified Africa, on Instagram and on Facebook. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Certified Africa. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button. So every time we come on Fridays and any other day, you can be kept, posted. You can also visit our website, certifiedafrica.com, where we have an online store. If you want to buy anything African, check out some of the things that we have for you to be able to buy. If you want to buy anything Africa, like maybe my mug here, Certified Africa, of course, you can be able to find that on our website, our store. Now, we also have a package that we do for people who want to relocate. Like I said, we're bent on helping as many people as possible relocate back to the continent, if that's what they want. If that's what you want, we are willing to help you do that. As you know, I'm Ghanaian. I've lived length and breadth of Ghana. And of course, I've lived in America too, so I can be able to identify with a lot of things and be able to help you make that transition. So you can reach out to us as well. certifiedafrica@gmail.com, and we're going to be able to take through the process. I appreciate you on sticking and staying with us. Enjoy your weekend. Have a blessed weekend. So we come your way again. It's been Certified Africa. We're out.